Okay, so my brother-in-law is always telling me that he wants to see me do real vlogs where you see my life and what I'm doing. And I don't know. Today I'm doing the best I can here. Not feeling too great. But my friend Patty came to visit me today. Hey!
Hi. I came to
So-
grab her library. There's a plethora of books.
Yeah, she grabbed some books and I'm gonna let her borrow those. The cat is here with us today.
Kitty.
She
Say
wanted to be
hi.
right next to us.
Hi.
So this is how my morning went. I just got up, we had cream of wheat together and coffee, and then she's going back to California.
Yep. I'm driving back to California.
No.
Going back to Cali.
Going back to Cali. So I won't be able to get her on the vlog.
No, I have to get on the road because I'm driving.
I wanted to get your testimony, girl.
Oh, girl, that takes forever.
That's gonna take a while. We can't do that right now. So
That takes forever.
she wants me to go to Cabo. I'm
Yes.
like, what? We
For my birthday.
We just went on a trip and she's ready to go on the next one already.
So you're lucky that I'm even letting you take because I just woke up and just kind of threw my hair back, and we're kind of very like candid right now because neither one of us have our hair done or makeup on or dressed. I just kind of threw something on because I'm driving for the next 15 hours to Arizona.
Patty is a devout Christian and I want to get her testimony. I want to do more testimonies on here. I just haven't gotten it done. I want to get my brother, who was with me for 2 weeks, but he just wasn't feeling too well, so we didn't do that either. But what are you doing, Missy? Oh my gosh.
Slamsy, yes.
So, all right. So next time, I guess
Yes.
we'll see you on the next one then.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be a little bit more presentable.
I know, right? All right. Bye.
Bye. Hair flying. Oh, look at Kitty. Say bye, Kitty. Bye.
Bye. No, pray for me. Don't go. No.
I gotta go back to Cali.
Okay. All right. Pray. Let's pray.
Okay. And we're going to pray? Yeah. All right. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day. I thank you that we can come to you and leave all our worries and all our anxieties, everything that we carry, we can leave it at your feet. You said to cast them at your feet and cast them so that, we don't have to carry them because you care for us. And you're going to give us peace. We're going to walk in peace. We're going to put the whole armor of God on. And I just pray for our family, our children. I pray that you would just touch them. Let the Spirit of God just fall on them first, God. And I just pray for April, Lord, that you would touch her in her life right now, where she's at. God, you know exactly where she's at. You know exactly where I'm at. And I just pray that you would direct our lives. And I thank you that you brought us together and that you have kept our friendship, and I thank you for that. Lord, I need her, and I know that she needs me, and you like to put people together that need each other, and I pray that you would continue to make our friendship grow. And I thank you, God, that I thank you, Lord, for your goodness and your grace and your mercy, God. I thank you in Jesus' name. Let's go forth with victory in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. Okay, so this is for Joseph, because he's always asking me to do a vlog of my life. I had this color put in my hair, and I like the color, but I don't like the texture, so probably won't see this color ever again because it makes your hair texture a lot harder to deal with. And I really don't like it. I like my hair to be very soft. So I'm just gonna do a quick curl, see if I can get it to do anything halfway nice today. If not, I'll probably just throw it up into some kind of a quick ponytail or something. So if you see me ever running around with a ponytail and like a headband on, that means I'm either working out or I didn't feel like doing my hair, because it does take a while to get it to do what you want it to do. So sometimes I just don't feel like messing with it. But what I typically do in a morning is I watch Joyce Meyer every morning, and then I typically watch one or two other, I guess you would call them religious shows. I call them spiritual shows or Christian shows. But that's what I need to keep me going and to keep me motivated and keep me positive and going in the right direction emotionally and all that. That's what helps me. So I don't do it just so that I can tell people, and I typically don't tell people, but I don't do it just because it's like the thing to do, or it's, you know, I think it sounds cool or anything. I do it because I really need it. So if you notice, I have the TV paused over here. Oh, can't see it. But, so I was watching Joyce before Patty came, and I have it paused. So if I don't have time to watch it, I will watch it while I getting ready. I have it on in the background.
Side of every believer, because the Bible says, unto every man is given the measure of faith on you. So guess what? The devil has power. We have power. But in that scripture, we have authority. It doesn't say anything about the devil having authority to receive something from them. And Peter said, I have no silver or gold. What I do have, that I give unto you in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Rise up and walk. And in verse 16.
So I'm in the study now. What I am going to do is get my stuff prepped for a client that I'm showing houses to this afternoon. I got my little list of houses I looked up last night on the MLS on my laptop, and I just wrote them down, and now I'm going to go in there and print things out to show them, so that when we meet they can look these over and decide if it's something they want to look at or not. If they don't, I'll just cancel it. I can cancel the showing if I need to do that. So what I'm doing right now is I am printing out all of the little information that I need to show these houses later, and people think that that's a really easy thing to do, but you have to work with the inventory that you have. So you can't show houses you don't have. So in order to match up the client with the house they want, sometimes can be quite a challenge, and finding one in the area that they want that fits all the criteria, it can be challenging. So right now I've got one, I think I've got 3 printed that we're gonna go see, but I have more down here, but I have to eliminate a couple because they might not be exactly what they're wanting, or like one of these is a townhouse that has some HOA fees, so there's always caveats to things. So I'm printing all this out, and then I'm supposed to go have lunch with a friend today. She's a friend from hospice. I'm not working there anymore, but I was working there until about 3 months ago. So I'm gonna meet up with her and see what's going on there and get the scoop and see who's still around and kind of what's happening. We're gonna meet here at the lake at one of my restaurants that I like over here by the lake. And so I'll probably put that on there, but I also need to stop by the office and get a folder, because I don't have a folder to put my my papers in. I like to give that to the client to have a nice folder. So I have to do that. And then normally when I'm in here in the study and I'm on the computer, I will listen to one of my other shows that I like. And so I was looking a minute ago to see what I had. And the one thing that I had 5 of is Marilyn Hickey, and I like her show. I watched that, and I went on a trip with Marilyn Hickey 7 years ago, the one that I went to Greece and Rome. got to go to Athens and all these places that Paul preached, and Corinth and all of these places. And then we went to Rome, where that's a lot of religious stuff there too. So I still love Marilyn Hickey and watch her as much as I can.
It's a good day because God made it. Inherently, because God made it, it is good. So if you're struggling, you're having a difficult time in life, you're going through some challenges, crises, we'd love to pray for you. Hop on the phone, get on the website. It's a great way for us to partner with you and your faith to see God do supernatural things. And Mom, you know, our partners are so important to us.
They are.
They are such a valuable partnership linked together to help us cover the earth with the word.
And here's a testimony from a partner, how she wrote in, had a lot of problems, didn't seem to be working out. And on the television, we said to put their
To
hands.
show this, I've got a new camera. I just don't know how to use it yet, but I've got a camera with a stand, and I should be able to do my videos on there, but I don't know how to use it yet, so Lord help me with that. So we've got 5 properties. So I've got my pages, and then the ones for the client here. So we know where we're going. We know what times we're supposed to be there. Let me mute that. And we had one property that was sold overnight that we were going to go see. So that is out. And then I will have I'll bring my notes with me in case there's anything on here that they might want to check out and see. My book coach that I'm writing my book with, he sent me a new reading plan that I should look at. So I was doing that a minute ago. I can't show you because it's on my phone, but if you go to the YouVersion app, which is a free Bible app, which was developed by our church here. You go to the app, there's all kinds of reading plans you can do. So this was one that he actually helped this lady develop this reading plan, and it's on there. And he's going to help me do that. So I'm really excited because I'm looking at different plans. I've got a Christine Kane reading plan that I'm doing. I'm doing a Elisa Bevere, a Jensen Franklin, and oh, he's one of my favorites. He came and spoke at our church, and he was just phenomenal. And I actually watch him too. He has a show, so I watch him once in a while. So I'm doing that plan. So I've got several different plans going because I want to see, kind of get ideas for how to do my own and how many scriptures to put in there and what to say and whatever. So I'm going to leave here in a minute to go run those few errands and then meet up with my friend. Oh, this is something I was going to show. I watched Terry Savelle Foy on YouTube. So I have that set up ready to go. So I even watch a lot of stuff on YouTube that, you know, people that don't have, ministers that I like that don't have shows or whatever, or they have a YouTube. I watch those a lot too. And even our pastor has a podcast that I watch that. I watch a lot. I have like Paula White on here. Jennifer Avaz, who may be a radical, like might be too radical for people, but I love it because she's all about the prophetic and the spiritual and whatever. And then Sid Roth, even though I watch his show, he has a YouTube, and you can go back and watch shows from a long time ago. I love that. But I also watch some other stuff on here too, not just Christian stuff, but that's mostly what I like. Okay, so I'm in the car, Joseph. I am heading out, and what I typically listen to in the car is Air One. I don't know where to put this. Okay, so I am going to do my declarations right here in a minute. And I am, garage door's closed. So since Air One is doing like a, they're raising funds right now to fund it, I am going to switch to one of my CDs. It's usually Hillsong, is what I like. Yep. So there we've got Hillsong United. In the winter, I'll be shadow stay. Should take another step. The weight of your heart, move me like you do the mountains, move me like you do the wind. I should still praise you so loud. Okay, so I am at the office now. I love it because it's literally like 2 blocks from my house. Real estate office. I'm just gonna run in here, check my box, and get like get a couple of folders because I ran out. So I'm gonna attempt to talk when I'm in there. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so I'm checking my box now. Let's see, I've got a couple things. Hello. Hi. Hi. Okay, got my nice folders, and I will now go meet up for lunch with my friend. I found love in a moment, exploding in light. I tried face to face, but my God, lost in your arms, so wonder. Will I wait all night, be free? My trusting heart, burning all that you are there. Lord, there's a place I belong. Have you ever seen the wonder in the glimmer of first sight? I see the world in my heart. I see the world in life, bursting in living color. I see the world your way, and I'm not afraid to follow. I see the world your way, and I'm not ashamed to say so. I see the Jesus way, and I'm walking in the light. I see the world in grace. I see the world in God's love. I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. Okay, I'm going in to meet my friend. I'll try to put her on the video for at least a second. But that lighthouse that you saw on the way in is where my husband proposed. Oh, how romantic. But yeah, it's a lake here, and there's several restaurants on the water, and I love to eat here. I'm just kind of confused. I don't know which restaurant we're meeting at because I said one on the text and then she said another. So I'm going to see if I can find her. Thank you.
It's good to see you again. You too. How was lunch? Ah, it was yummy. Look at this lovely scenery we have. The water.
know, it's great. It's
This
great.
was our lunch.
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips. Gotta love that.
Alright.
And pink diamond martini, no alcohol.
Yeah. Alright. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm back in the car after lunch, and I just got a text from my client. I was going to meet them in about 30 minutes that they want to reschedule for Sunday. I guess somebody got sick. One of the kids got sick at school or something. So I'm going to possibly go to my sister's because we have a big party for my mom tomorrow. It's her 70th birthday party, and my sister was wanting me to help her decorate, and I was originally going to do that, but then my client switched their days, so I told her I couldn't, but now they've switched them again, so I may go ahead and go do that. So I guess I will head that way. Thank you. To college for a few years. Hello. Hi, Christy. How you doing? Okay, so I'm at my sister's helping her decorate because we're having a, what is the theme? Hawaiian theme party.
Hawaiian theme
So she's
party.
got all this tiki stuff out.
Yeah.
So I've been helping her decorate. My brother's here staying for the party, and I've been wanting to ask him some questions for the vlog about
Yes.
growing up on the mission field, etc.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Michael Looper. Nice to meet you. I'm April's older brother. I like to call myself the prototype. I was the first.
Oh God, prototype.
Growing up on the mission field, boy, I'll tell you what, it was an amazing experience. I personally love it. I loved everything about it.
Really?
I really did.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because we grew up running around in the coffee fields,
Mm-hmm.
eating the coffee beans and
Yeah.
just a lot of freedom you don't have here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I like the most about it. The society and the people, you know, they were happy just to know you because you were an American, and so it was a unique way to grow up.
And we lived on a mountain, and we actually literally did have a coffee bean plantation right next to our house. Like,
We-
he's not lying about that.
Yeah, we did. And the rolling hills and just, I was an explorer and liked to, I just loved having the freedom to go up and down the mountains and just learn and explore, and I think it's one thing that made me more creative or something like that.
Yeah. And then on our property we had, like the house was kind of set back a little bit, and we had bananas on our property. We had
Yes.
plantains, mangoes, we had bamboo, we had sugar cane, we had jocotes. I don't know.
Bananas.
Yeah, jocotes is not even a fruit here. I don't know what you would call that.
Jocotes is a fruit that I've only ever seen in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having access to all those fruits was amazing. I usually brag about that to my friends. I'm like,
Yeah.
you go to the store and you see the stuff in the stores, and you're
Yeah.
like, wow, we wouldn't pick this yet. It's still green. It
Right.
hasn't developed. It doesn't have the right juices in it. It's not
Exactly.
mature.
Yeah.
And so we grew up being able to just pull the fruit off the tree. Oranges and tangerines.
Yeah, we
were-
had oranges. Sweet oranges is another one.
Sweet oranges was another version of oranges. And we could just wait until they ripened on the vine, pull
Mm-hmm.
it right off. It was amazing.
We had so many mangoes, they would just rot. There were so many just all in the yard.
Mangoes. I used to have a special shirt that I called my mango shirt that I would wear when
Oh,
I'd climb
wow.
up into the mango tree.
I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, I could sit up there for hours. And the mango tree was right next to we had a swimming pool. I know that sounds fancy, but it was
It was
a small little thing. I mean,
pool, yeah.
something somebody threw together, but it was cool.
Yeah.
So,
And I like the fact that the oxen are a big thing there. And they used to actually bring the oxen with the cart. Like I have that little Costa Rican cart.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a cultural thing, and I have a replica of it. But they had the real oxen would come up our mountain.
yeah.
And they would get stuck in our yard because the gate would sometimes be open and we'd have to get the oxen out of the yard. I know it sounds so weird, doesn't
yeah,
it?
It does sound weird, but we were kind of at the end of the
Yeah.
mountain too.
Way up at the top.
So, yeah, we're about halfway up that mountain.
Yeah,
So whenever you went to the bus, you had to walk up and down that
yeah.
entire
It
thing.
was a long way too.
It's about a half a mile to the
Yeah,
up and down the
The
stretch
mountain.
there just to get to the bus.
yeah,
And we used to ride the bus to town and then come
Mhm.
home, and then you're tired. It's 11
Yeah.
o'clock at night, and
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to walk up that thing to go home.
yeah. We lived
Hmm.
like a metropolitan lifestyle because we would take the buses and then
Yeah.
we would go downtown San Jose, and when we would go to youth group and stuff, we would take taxis and whatever, and you know, it was just kind of a cool life to live.
I enjoyed it, but I was at a different age. My
Mm-hmm.
sisters were younger, so it impacted them differently.
Yeah,
But for me, it was just cool, I thought.
yeah. So what did you think about us moving? So we became missionaries when I was 7, so you must have been 9.
Yeah.
And then we traveled around for 3 years raising support in that travel trailer with a minivan hooked to it.
Yeah.
And then we went full time. What did you feel like when we went full time?
Well, I didn't know the difference. I mean, so that's just what we did. So it didn't
Yeah.
really matter where we were. That's why I thought Costa Rica was cool, because
Yeah.
in the States, when you're traveling, you know, you're always sleeping on somebody else's couch or
Mhm.
staying with some new family that you just met. And so it was nice to have our own place.
Yeah.
So to me, it didn't make any difference that it was down there or here.
Yeah.
The only difference was there wasn't any English-speaking kids for me to play with,
Yeah.
but that helped me learn Spanish faster.
Well, this was 30 years ago, back before there was a ton of people in Costa Rica. There was,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't as developed even as it is now.
Yeah, it wasn't a tourist destination. And
Yeah,
all
now
that
it
kind of
is.
stuff.
Yeah. And then mom and dad started that church. It was
Yeah.
called El Shaddai,
El Shaddai.
and that was our church.
Yeah.
It
That was
was-
after the Amy Grant song, El Shaddai.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to this day, every time I hear that song, it just brings me to tears.
Really?
Amy Grant's song, El Shaddai.
Oh. Yeah. And the church that my dad bought used to be an old Italian ceramic factory.
Yeah.
So we went in there, like when we bought it, we went in there and we had to like clear out all the ceramics.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this thing called the igloo that was actually the kiln where they would make those ceramics.
That was the coolest thing. They had this old stove, looked like an igloo,
Yeah.
and that's where they would, fire
The ceramics.
the ceramics.
Yeah. And they were nice ceramics. I mean, they
Yeah.
had everything in there.
Yeah.
They just left it all. And then we
Yeah.
turned it into a prayer room. That's where we would go pray.
We turned that big oven into a prayer room. It had its own little door and everything, and you'd have to get down on your hands and knees and crawl through the door. But once you got in, you could stand up.
Yeah.
You could walk around in there and pray for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really neat.
And Dad would go in there and pray,
Yeah.
and then the church grew to like 200, 250 really quick. Remember that? And this was 30 some years ago, so that was a big deal, you know.
Yeah, I think they're still like 500 strong now.
Really, you think?
They're at least 3 or 4. So for that area, that said a lot. You know, the town was a lot smaller back then.
Yeah.
Now it's grown into this, you know, touristy
thing, yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know that we were living in like paradise, you know, it was just normal to us.
Well, the property was unique also because there was 2 different bus lines, and we were sitting to where our property would touch both main streets as they would converge. So, depending on which way you needed to go, was which bus stop you would go to, and you could get to both on.
Yeah.
And that was really neat.
And people would come from all over on those buses and
Yeah.
stop at, because the stop was right at the property, and they would get off and come to church.
Which made a big difference for people coming to church because they didn't have to walk very far.
Yeah.
You know, they walked. It was a long property, so they had to walk up the driveway again to go to the service. But I mean,
Yeah.
the bus is right there on the main street, so that helped a lot.
Yeah, and so our life consisted of going to church every time the doors opened, pretty much,
Yeah,
and just we grew up doing that. So when we would fly back to the States, we were the missionary kid, and we were at home, we were the pastor's kid.
yeah. For us, it was just normal.
Yeah,
And now we realize, all these years later, how unique it was to grow up that way.
yeah,
You know, and I treasure it also because I didn't grow up in the public school system here, so there's a lot of things I didn't get to go to the football team and
Yeah.
have the prom and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
I missed all that, but I also miss all the bad that comes with.
right,
You know,
right.
I mean, I look at what kids go through today in schools, and it just makes me sad. I mean,
yeah,
they're just another number, and
yeah,
there's nothing special about it, and many of them hate going through high school. It's
Yeah.
one of the hardest times.
they're exposed to a lot that we were never exposed to because we
exposed
were
to a lot.
homeschooled.
Yeah,
And then Christy and I went to school later on for like the last couple of years, but we were homeschooled most of the time.
yeah,
And so we just made friends in the church. A lot of our friends are Costa Rican, you know,
Yeah.
native Costa Ricans, and are still there.
and we would all get together on a Friday or Saturday night, and we'd get on the bus and go to town and walk around and,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, window shop, go to a movie, you know, kind of do whatever.
We went everywhere.
We went everywhere, and it was all on foot, and you can't do that these days.
No.
I mean, nowadays you can't even walk around the block without getting mugged.
Oh, Michael, I think
sad.
when I was like 12, 13, I would walk through San Jose by myself, like 30 blocks to get to a
Yes.
bus stop.
At 10 o'clock at night.
Yes, and nothing ever happened to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a necklace stolen or something once or twice, but that was it. Like, I never had anything major happen.
They did have a lot of petty thievery.
Yeah, but I know that Dad was always praying. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't let my 16-year-old walk by himself downtown San Jose. There's no way.
Now we freak out if the kids run down the block to the 7-Eleven, you know.
I know, pretty much. Pretty much. But it was a fun life. It is a life that most people here can't really relate to. It's just so different and foreign, and that's just the way it was.
But it was the same for us coming back to here to live here. We couldn't relate to the lifestyle here either.
Yeah,
It was so enclosed and it was sad.
I know. And I think it gives you like a different worldview. You know, when you grow up like that, you just have
Yeah.
a completely different perspective.
Well, also one thing I think that's really missing, especially today, is just human interaction. I mean, you don't really know how to be yourself around other people, around strangers.
Right.
You know, down there, we're riding the buses all hours of the day and night. And so you learn how to stand in line. So you learn how to be respectful and let the lady on the bus first, or give her your seat.
Yeah.
And you stand for an
Yeah.
hour while you're tired. I mean, you learn sacrifice, and you learn how to interact with people around you.
Yeah.
And kids these days just don't seem to know how to do that.
No.
Not even on a basic level. I mean, you say hi to them and you get deer in the headlights look, you know, I'm afraid to say hello.
I know, right?
You know, it's just really sad. So
Yeah, we didn't have cell phones or anything like that
yeah,
back
we
then.
didn't have all that stuff. I love the devices. I'm a tech guy right now. That's how I make my money right now, and everything. But we're missing that social interaction, which is so vital and important.
Yeah.
We got it in spades down there growing up that way.
And our parents were kind of the radical ones who said, let's go live by faith, right? And give everything away and head on down. And
Yeah.
we really did live by faith. Like sometimes we didn't know where our next meal was coming from.
Yeah, that made it hard because we didn't have any backing or covering from a church or a board or anything like that. It was nice that Dad could follow the leading of the Holy Spirit and do what he felt he was,
Yeah,
you know, when he prayed, he was being led to do,
right.
which is something else that the church sometimes takes away because, you know,
Yeah.
they have to vote you in or this or that or, you know, it all goes down to money, you know. Well, we only have
Yeah.
so much to spend and
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. You know, we took all that out of the equation.
right. Yeah, he
So.
just did it, which, you know, in a lot of ways was a hard thing. But
It's a lot harder to do it that way. I don't recommend it.
yeah,
It's better to have the backing of a missionary board or a church
Yeah.
or something like that.
yeah. But we were involved in a really cool youth group down there. So we had all different missionary kids involved in this youth group from all different churches, all different denominations, remember?
Yeah.
And like youth group became like our big thing because we had English speaking friends, and we had, you know, it was like a little church thing with our English speaking friends. It was really cool.
That was probably one of the funnest parts of was that youth group because it was for English speaking missionaries of all backgrounds to converge, and we would come together on Saturday nights and we have an hour-long meeting, sometimes two or whatever, and it was just fun. And like, hey, we're gonna see you at youth group, you know, because you'd make friends
Yeah.
with the other missionaries,
Yeah.
and then you'd look forward to seeing each other every Saturday night.
Yeah, and a lot of them went to all the English-speaking schools, so they knew each other from schools. And then we also had like diplomat kids and, you know, UN people working for the UN, even business people. They would hear about this youth group, and then we'd meet all these incredible people there.
Yeah, people from all over the place,
Yeah.
and from every background and denomination you can think of.
Oh, I know. And we still know a lot of those people.
Yeah,
And what's really cool, I could not believe Michael Arias, who is from our youth group,
yes,
ended up living here.
I know.
You know,
Just a mile away.
a mile away, and I'm like, he's from our youth group in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
He's a Costa Rican that I guess he went to English speaking school because his parents wanted him to learn English. I don't know, but like he lives here. How crazy is that? What are the odds?
Pretty amazing. Yeah, and he looked us up years later. I mean,
Yeah.
we weren't in contact all these years. He
Yeah,
found us on Facebook, I guess, or
yeah,
something.
yeah. And then I'm like, wait a minute, you're
Yeah.
here. You're in the
And
same
reached out
town.
and we reconnected, and so now we stay in touch.
And he remembers you going to pray for him at his house or something. I don't know. He's got this whole story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
I remember we had a Volkswagen bus. It was red, and it was a camper van. And I used to drive that thing all over San Jose every Saturday night, just picking people up and dropping them off after a youth group. And that was
Okay.
my funnest thing. And I had this old tape recorder a boom box
Yeah.
that played cassette tapes. And so
Oh,
I would
wow.
make these long music tapes,
Huh.
recording the music together and play it while we were driving.
Oh, wow.
And so I had my boombox right there next to me,
Ah,
and I would play that thing, and I was like, everybody ready? And so I'd hit play, and we would go, and I'd be driving that van for hours every Saturday night. And I learned all the ways to drive around, to navigate the city.
and that is a hard place to drive
It
because
was a
people
hard-
drive
yes.
crazy there.
Yeah.
There's like more fender benders there than anywhere else in the entire world.
It always amazed me when people would come to visit from the States. They would freak out. It would scare them. They're
Yeah.
like, wow, man, how do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because you just cut in and out of traffic like it's nothing.
Oh gosh.
And now, just the thought of it scares me. I mean, now I'm completely Americanized.
I
You
know.
if I'm at a four-way stop sign and somebody goes out of turn, I'm freaking out. You know, like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I drove there once and I was like, no, I can't do this.
And in Costa Rica, it was normal.
Yeah.
It was like, you know,
Yeah. And then the other cool thing we did with the youth group is we would go on 2 campouts. Was it 2 campouts or 3 a
we
year?
went on at least 2 a year.
Yeah.
One to the mountains and one to the beach.
And those
Yeah.
campouts, I mean, those are the best memories I think I have.
Those are the best memories I have, was those campouts. Because you're in your formative years. I mean, we were teenagers at the time. And yeah, we would go to the mountains.
Savegre.
It was called Savegre, and it was a special camp that I don't even know how it got started, but it was a ministry camp, and
Like they actually had cabins and a
they
kitchen.
had cabins and a kitchen, and we would build onto it every time we were out there. We'd build something new, and it was cold, and it was way up in the mountains, and we would play Capture the Flag, and
Oh,
that
man.
was a whole day-long thing.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Those, like, you could only go as far as the bus could only go so far, and then you had to go on foot. I
Yes.
don't know how many, 7 kilometers or something to get to it.
It was a good 5 miles minimum.
It was a long way.
It was
and
a long
then
way, and you had to wind all the way down.
all the way down.
And I remember one year I ran all the way. I
my
jogged all the way
God.
down because I wanted to be the first
Oh,
one to do
wow.
it and to get the bunk. And I was sore for weeks after.
Oh, I bet.
The entire camp out, I could barely move
Oh, my
because
God.
I just wore myself out jogging down this hill, winding around for miles.
I mean, we're talking about pure wilderness there. Like, there
Yeah.
was nothing out there. It was like these crystal streams, and it was just crisp air. And when they would play Capture the Flag, it was serious.
It was serious business. You would think we
Serious.
were going to real war.
You
or
would think it
something.
was a real war. I mean, people would hide
Yeah.
out in the mountains. Some
Yeah.
people would get into the stream and they'd be breathing through a straw
Oh,
because
I
they're
know.
going through the enemy's camp. I mean, it
Yeah.
was, these people were
Yeah, we
serious.
took it serious, and we looked forward to it all year long, and we would talk about it and plan, you know, like,
Yeah, yeah.
well, I'm going to go up through the trees, and, you know.
And they would.
We had boundaries. We had to actually set boundaries because people would have, like, you know, traveled to the next
Yeah,
mountain over, and,
yeah.
you know.
And these are mountains. Like, these guys are
Yeah.
really up in the mountain. They would be in camouflage.
oh, yeah, we looked like Rambo, man. We had all
I
this
mean,
stuff on.
sometimes you couldn't even find people. It's like,
Paint
well,
and
these two
everything,
haven't shown
yeah.
up yet. It's been 7 hours and they're still out there.
It was so much fun to play that game.
That was just amazing.
We look forward to that so much.
And then we would gather at night. We would sing. We had our own little hymnal. Youth group had our own
Yes.
hymnal
We
thing.
had our own songbook, and
Amazing
Yeah.
songs, and we would just someone on a guitar, and we would all
we
sing.
usually had 2 or 3 guitar players.
It was just, I
Yeah.
mean, I just don't know if there's anything like it.
I've never seen anything like it, and it was a big thing.
And then, you know, it was all these people, and then and they all, you know, got along, loved each other. Of course, people would pair off, you know, some people would start dating, and you know, there was just always something going on.
There's always some kind of
and
drama anytime
Oh,
you get
yeah.
people together. There's something going on.
some kind of drama. And then you'd be put on
Yeah.
kitchen duty, and who's on kitchen duty, and this person be mad because, you know,
Yeah,
they didn't want to do it again or whatever. So,
yeah. And kitchen duty was rough, man. I mean, you're cooking for like 40 people or something.
yeah, like I don't know what to
So,
do.
Yeah,
And then the beach one was cool because you had to take your tents, and people, we would
Oh,
make a
yes.
little, we'd have to get everything off the bus and haul
Yeah.
it over there and then build your little camp, you know.
yeah. We used to have like the center of the beach. The center of the camp was the common area. That
Mm-hmm.
was, and then one side of the beach would be male, and the other side would be female. And
Right, right. And you're
So
not
it's
supposed to
like-
cross.
there's no man's land. Like you can't
Yeah.
go. You can't go. Guys can't go this way. Girls can't go that way. But you can meet in the middle.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And then at night we would do these things where we'd roast people, and we'd do skits. People would do skits. Remember that? It was
We
so
always did
funny.
skits. Yeah,
So funny.
yeah.
But one thing I wanted to ask you about is when we were missionaries to Mexico first, or our parents would go to Mexico, way up into like the remote areas of the mountains.
Yeah.
And one time you told me that you saw an angel up there.
Yeah, we were sitting on the side of a mountain, and you know, there's just these little 2-lane roads going up the mountain. And we're talking Mexican mountains are tall.
Yeah.
I mean, so I remember trying to remember all the details.
So you're telling me about the angel.
Oh, the angel on the side of the road was an amazing thing. I happened to look up in the clouds. I'm sitting in the driver's seat by the steering wheel because I couldn't sleep. We literally just pulled off the side of the road, and you can see the mountain going down. And I think you guys were outside on a makeshift bed.
Oh wow.
I think somebody was in the van with me. I can't remember. It's so long ago, but I just remember I was scared, and so I was sitting in the driver's seat, and I was praying, asking God to protect us. And I looked up in the clouds, and I saw what to me looked like an angel
Oh my gosh.
sitting in the clouds, watching over us as we're
Wow.
on the side of the road.
Wow.
I remember that.
Was it just like a cloud that looked like an angel, or you think it was a really?
Well, that's what I thought, but I mean, it was an outline of a white figure with wings, really
Wow.
big.
Oh wow.
I mean, we're talking like 50 feet tall or something. I mean,
Jeez.
it was a big guy. You know, it's like he could just reach down and grab us if one of
Oh
us
my
fell.
gosh, that is so cool.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure he was white, just like the cloud. And so I kept doing a double take, thinking maybe it was just a cloud, but no, it was a bright figure.
Wow, that is so
Yeah.
cool. That is so cool.
And then I was able to sleep after I saw that.
Oh, oh, how neat.
Yeah, that's why I was sitting in the front, so I could see out the windows. I was afraid to
Okay.
go in the back of the van because I thought the van was going to fall off the things.
Oh my gosh,
I mean, I was young, you know.
those treacherous places. And I remember one time in Mexico, we couldn't get up a hill because the minivan was pulling a trailer,
Yeah.
like a 30-foot trailer, and the road was so steep we couldn't get up. Remember that?
I don't remember that one specifically.
I remember that where Mom and Dad asked us to pray, and then we felt like a push, like something pushed us up,
Oh, yeah.
and we were stuck in traffic, like we were gonna like have an accident.
Miracles like that were normal for us, though. I mean, whenever we got in a bind, we would just pray and something would happen.
Right.
One story that Mom and Dad always told us is when we were in Mexico, while they were going to language school, we were broke. I mean, we barely had anything to eat. And there were stories of people leaving bags of groceries on the back of the van,
Yeah, I remember that.
and nobody took them. In Mexico, that's phenomenal.
And we don't know who left it there.
I mean, I love Mexican. I love Mexico. I love the Mexican people and Latin people in general. You know, we lived in Costa Rica, and I just have a heart. There's no difference. I mean, I don't even like to say I'm American. I like to say I'm Costa Rican.
Right.
So I don't want to sound
Yeah.
weird about it, but I mean, in those countries, for somebody to leave food out and nobody take it
Right.
is a miracle in itself.
I totally remember that. And I remember one time, we usually didn't go hungry, but a lot of times we didn't know where our next meal was coming from. But one
Yeah.
time we did go hungry for 3 days.
Yeah.
I remember there was literally lasagna noodles and salt was all we had in the entire kitchen. In the cabinets, the fridge, there was nothing. There was 1 pack of lasagna noodles
It's,
and some salt. And Mom boiled it up, and that was our meal. Like,
that was
okay,
our meal.
kids, this is our
Yeah.
last meal, you know. It's like, okay.
I remember somebody gave us a bunch of fortune cookies one time, and we eat that for dinner. It was a big bag of fortune cookies, and so we just split them up. And,
I don't remember that. But I remember seeing those groceries on the one time we walked up, and it was on the wheel. You know, the van had a wheel on the back of it, and there was a stack of groceries sitting up there. Like, who does that?
yeah,
You know?
it was pretty crazy.
Or someone would show up with them at the doorstep or whatever. I think our parents were pretty brave to live like that with 3 kids.
I think so, and people can question it and comment or whatever. But you know, whatever, to me, the older I get, I learn that with sacrifice comes beautiful things. And growing up that way, we made a lot of sacrifices, but we also learned a lot of beautiful things that
Yeah,
people don't know. One of them is just patience.
yeah.
Just being able to talk to someone and have a regular conversation. To me, that's worth the world.
Right,
Because nowadays you talk to people and they just tune out in 2
Right.
seconds.
right.
They'll talk for 30 minutes as long as you're listening or pretending like you're listening.
Yeah,
But as soon as you get 3 words out, they're done talking.
yeah,
Wait a minute.
yeah.
It's so very selfish and just I don't even know how I got on that, but anyway.
Well, and I think that there was negative aspects too. Like the 3 of us, you, Christy, and me, we got so tired of going to church because we were at church every time the doors open.
Constantly.
That now,
And the services were sometimes
Long.
3 to 4 hours long.
right, that we got so burned out when we came back to the States. I remember when I first started going to Life Church,
Yeah.
it was like back in like when they first came to that campus there on 178 around the year 2000. I did not want to be in leadership or anything. I just wanted to blend in. I just don't want anyone to know who I am, and
Yeah.
I just want to come and go as I please, because I never had the chance to do that.
Yeah, we were always in the spotlight. People were always judging us every move we made because, you know, you're the pastor's kid, and then you're the missionary's kid, and then
Right,
you know, it's like you couldn't even be normal. You couldn't just, you know.
right,
I could never say a bad word or get mad or do anything.
yeah,
So, you know, you were held at that constantly, like you had to be a perfect role model constantly, and I couldn't do it.
And now people will say to me, "Oh, you're just a Miss Goody Two Shoes and everything," but it's like, if you knew the way I was raised, like we were sheltered, not because Mom and Dad wanted to shelter us. It was just the way that our lives went.
Yeah,
You know.
we had to be sheltered because otherwise people wouldn't leave us alone. It's a lot like a
Right.
celebrity. You know, celebrities,
Right.
especially when they get real famous real fast at a young age. You know, you see stories of them. When they talk about it years later, you know, it's kind of a rough way to grow up because
Yeah.
it's almost like you can't interact with anybody because people treat you like something you're not. It's sad.
Yeah, we grew up in a glass house between the missionary thing and the pastor thing. Like we were always living in a
Yeah.
glass house. And then to come back here and you're not anymore, just so weird and strange.
And that's why many pastors' kids or missionary kids or both, you know, they go off the deep end.
Right.
They run off and get into all kinds of stuff they can't get out of.
Yeah.
And I remember for me personally, I didn't want to be one of those. I didn't want to be one of those statistics, you know, oh, he's a pastor's kid. He's the worst of all of them.
And
you
he's
know?
rebellious and
He's
all
rebellious
that.
and all. I didn't want to go down that path, but I also didn't want to stay in the spotlight and
Right.
be Mr. Goody Two Shoes either.
Yeah.
So I had my rebellious period, you know, where
Yeah.
I'd go play pool all night or something
Yeah.
like that, you know.
I think we all wanted to disappear
Yeah.
from church. Like, Christy still doesn't have a desire to go. You don't have much of a desire to go.
Yeah.
I'm the only one of the kids that really goes anymore, and I go sporadically at best, just because, I don't know, just because of that part of our lives, I think.
Yeah, we definitely had our fill. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, and when we were itinerating, we were in churches all the time. That's all we did.
Yeah,
Our
we're
parents, we'd go to
constantly-
different churches all the time.
we were in a new church all the time, so you're always meeting somebody new. You're always having to explain
Your life.
everything from start to finish, and it was over and over and over. And
Yeah.
to this day, it's hard for me to meet new people because I don't want to spend the time relating with them and letting them know. A lot of the questions are just simple and basic,
Yeah.
and I don't mind some of it, but I just, you know, after doing it for
Yeah.
the first 30 years of my life or 20, you know, whatever it was,
Yeah. We were just tired.
So,
But I
Yeah.
remember we used to go to Lakewood Church every year, and they had a conference there. And they
Yes.
had a children's thing, they had an adult thing, and we would go. And
yeah.
they ended up launching us into the mission field. This was back when John Osteen was the pastor.
When John Osteen was the pastor, I remember when he called mom and dad up to the stage, and at that time the stage was round and it was in the middle of a big building, and
I
the
remember
congregation
that.
sat all the way around.
Yeah.
And they prayed for him, and then people would bring donations up and lay them on
Brought
the
money.
stairs
Yeah.
and raising money to send us.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. And John Osteen was such a cool guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he just was amazing. I
Yeah.
remember I was playing in the sandbox, and he'd come walking by, and I would say hi to him, and he'd stop, and he'd at least say hi.
Yeah.
He didn't have time to stop and engage, but he
Right,
would say
right.
hi, hey man, how you doing, and stuff like that.
Well, and what's so funny is Dad, before he died, he's like, Joel has gotten huge now, Joel Osteen, and Dad's like, I remember him behind the scenes when he was a cameraman, and I'd walk in there and say, hey, Joel, and
Yeah.
and Dad remembers that, and I got to meet Joel last year, and I tried to tell him this
wow.
story because I thought maybe he would remember, but no,
Yeah.
I mean, he had no recollection.
He was in the same boat we were,
Right.
and yeah,
Yeah, that was funny.
constantly traveling, and then having to go up and just
Go up on
meet
the
people and go up
stage
on the
and
stage, and how do you like being a
speak.
missionary?
I
Oh yeah, it's great,
know.
yay!
Yeah.
Raise the pom poms again. Okay, good, yeah.
I know,
And we're
right?
off to the next one. You know?
But the one thing that will never change is our faith. I
Yeah.
think that it instilled that faith in us, in God, and that will never go away.
Yeah, it did, and also our independence.
Mm-hmm.
And we, like I said, we grew up walking the streets at 10 o'clock at night, and we
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
were perfectly safe. We didn't have to worry about somebody running off with us.
Yeah.
And it's not because bad things didn't happen in those days.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe it's because we were protected.
Yeah.
And
And I used to ask Dad, don't you worry
Yeah.
about us? And he goes, no, I just pray for protection and I go right to sleep.
Dad would always say, he's like, well, if I was worried about you, I'd pray, and if I felt good about it in here, I wasn't worried.
Mm-hmm. And we were always safe. We never had any horrendous, horrible thing happen.
We always made it home, and
Yeah. We did have our house broken into a couple times.
yeah.
But none of us were ever harmed or anything.
But back then it was just thievery. It was just
Right.
petty thievery.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have killings and murders and
Right.
all this other happy stuff. Right?
So, well, I'm so glad to have been able to get you on camera here.
I know.
Get you on my vlog.
April kind of put me on the spot.
I know, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm happy.
I
I've been
had
wanting
you-
to do this for a week or so.
I had you at my house for 2 weeks and couldn't get it done. I
I
had to
know.
wait till you came to Christie's.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
It just seems like such a long time ago when all this
it
happened.
does. I know.
I mean, I'm 49 now. I'll be 50 next year. I can't even believe it.
I know.
It just the big 50 scares me. I don't even know. You know. But to me, I love and treasure those moments, how we grew up, and it makes me sad. People that grew up the normal way here in America, and even in Costa Rica. I mean, I'm glad that we got to go between the two, and I think it gave us a unique view on life and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So.
Do you think of any negatives? I mean, I have a couple negatives about it, but
The only negative to me is not being relatable to people. Because when the guys get together, they're talking about their cars and their fishing and their football, and I never did any of that.
yeah.
So I could care less. I'm like, I don't care how
Right.
big your truck is, man. Drive it off a cliff for all I care.
Michael!
Oh, our football team's gonna win. Oh,
I
good.
know.
Well, I'm glad. We
And-
built a church and an orphanage, and
Yeah, and our
You
thing
know?
is getting souls into the kingdom. Like,
we prayed for people, and we were feeding the hungry and doing whatever.
Right.
And, so I didn't have time to go to school, and
yeah,
nothing against football. I mean, that's a totally American thing.
Yeah.
That's one of the regrets.
Well,
is
they have soccer down there. They don't even have football.
they had
so-
soccer down there, and they were just as crazy about that as
Right.
we are about this.
Right. But we never got into it, not that much.
Yeah, it was never a big deal for us. Yeah.
And people think, like, with me, think that I'm like this radical Christian. Well, I kind of am, and it's like, but
Yeah.
my dad and my brother, and I tell people this all the time, we're not into sports. Like, we didn't watch sports. We didn't go to sports. We didn't do
Yeah.
anything. But I would rather go to a worship service
Yeah.
than go to the game. Like, you will never find me at a game. It just won't happen. Like,
Yeah,
I
we
have
never
no
went
interest.
to games. We never went to games.
No,
I mean,
that was not in our lives.
It wasn't part of the high school weekend thing. You know, we were a youth group.
We were a youth group.
You know, singing songs and praying for each other or
Right.
somebody else or whatever.
Right. And it's a life that not too many people know about. Like, it's so different. It's hard
Yeah.
to even explain it to people. So,
Yeah. So I regret missing out on school and stuff like that.
yeah.
But that's the only thing.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly. You know, it's nobody's fault for growing up the way you grew up. I mean, you
Right.
do the best you can with what you've got. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, what matters is what you do now,
Yeah.
today. And don't wait to start whatever it is you want to do. Just go do it.
Right.
You know, that's one thing we learned was, oh, we want to do this thing over here. Okay, well, let's just go.
Mm-hmm.
We're not waiting for anybody to validate it or
Yeah.
tell us it's okay. We just went.
Yeah, one of the things we did, and this sounds really radical, but my dad would like to pray early in the mornings. And I remember there was
Yeah.
a period of time, it was you and me and dad. We lived in Piedades, but the church was in Santana, and we would get up at 4 a.m., get on our bikes.
Yes,
Remember that?
I remember
Ride down
that.
the hill. We lived on that other hill.
Yeah.
Ride down the hill and ride all the way to Santana
We'd get up
to
and,
pray.
and make a drink, like an energy shake or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And we get on our bikes and ride 5 miles to the church.
To the igloo and to go
And-
pray.
And then we would pray for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then we would go have brunch.
Like, this was really what we did.
Yeah, so by 10 o'clock in the morning, when we're eating our first meal, we've already prayed 3 or 4 hours. And everybody else is just kind of getting up and around, you know,
Yeah.
getting to school or whatever.
I don't know what possessed us to want to do that, but you and I decided we want to do that with Dad for some reason.
That was really fun. That's one of the best memories, you know, riding our bikes as the sun was coming up, you know, to get to church so that we could pray for 2 or 3 hours. And
I don't know
all
what
I
we were
could-
praying about, but
I don't even know what we were praying about either. All I know is I was praying for breakfast. I was like, I was hungry, man. So we had
God.
one of the people in the church was starting a restaurant, and so we'd go over to his place.
oh, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, and he would make us this
Yes.
cool breakfast, and that for me was made the day. I was like,
Ah,
I love the bike ride, and I didn't like
Yeah.
getting up early.
I know,
I
right?
hated that part, but
I don't think it lasted long, but it lasted a couple months.
we did
2,
it for
3
2 or
months.
3 months, and
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. Yeah.
It was cool. And then one of the stories I remember is a witch had infiltrated our church. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah.
Supposedly this lady who was a witch, she had gotten into our church to infiltrate, just to spy on us, right?
Yeah.
And had gotten to know Mom and Dad or whatever, invited them over for lunch one day.
Yeah.
They didn't know that she was a witch. They found out later. Supposedly she poisoned their food,
Yeah.
and nothing happened to them. Supposedly she poisoned their lunch.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds crazy. It sounds outlandish, but this really happened.
Because people were learning to pray to
God.
God, you know, a higher
Yeah.
being that could actually do something for them.
And I think one of the pastors from the States was with them when they went to that lunch.
Yeah.
And the lady, like, couldn't figure out how they lived. They just ate the lunch and left. And, you know, it was no big deal. So,
I remember that. Yeah.
so anyway. Oh, but the one negative I was going to say is that for me, a big thing has been disappointment, because we lived this life where everything was like this outlandish, fantastical, you know, you're going to be this huge minister on a world stage. And Dad used to say things to us like that, prophesy to us, and, you're going to
Yeah.
preach to the world and you're going to do this, that, and the other. And then you're just living a normal life. Like, you kind of feel like, am I doing enough? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Or did I miss it somewhere? I was supposed to be doing campaigns all over, Central America. Like, then you feel like you missed it. Or I struggle with disappointment a lot.
Well, I used to. I used
Really?
to feel the same, yeah.
But not anymore?
But not anymore.
Huh.
Because, when you're constantly put on a pedestal, then you feel like, well, maybe I'm supposed to be up there instead of down here.
Right.
Not necessarily.
Right.
So I just realized that for me, God was dealing with me. The important thing is every day I ask Him, what do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that from down there.
Right.
So as long as I'm doing that, it doesn't really matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling of being on a pedestal is what we would attribute to fame or,
Mm-hmm. But it's like the only people that are recognized are the ones that have a huge stage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what about the person that is doing exactly what God asked them to do, but nobody knows, nobody can see
Yeah.
it?
but that's in man's eyes. God knows.
Right, exactly.
And as long as you're doing what He asked you to do, it doesn't
Exactly.
matter if man ever gets to see it.
Exactly.
Because He knows and He will reward you accordingly.
Right.
So,
Right. So that's where a lot of my struggles have been, just through disappointment of life not being what I thought it
feel
was
like
going to
you
be.
should have been doing more or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, or man, I'm this age and this is it, I've arrived. Like, no, this is
Yeah.
not what I imagined back then.
Yeah. I felt like that for a long time, but I realized that, like I said, if I'm doing what I feel like God wants me to do right now in this moment, I don't have to worry about the rest.
Exactly. I wish we would teach that more and preach that. I wish people would preach that.
Well, it's hard, in today's world is so different than the way we grew up,
Yeah.
People are engaging on social media and nothing wrong with it. It's just a different way of thinking and engaging and the world's view of doing a
Of
big work
success.
of success is being worldwide.
Right.
But that's not God's view.
Right, and that's what bothers me is that, to be a success, you have to have written 5 books, and you gotta have 3 TV shows, and you have to have a following of 1 million people, and otherwise you're not successful. And I just think it's wrong.
It is wrong. All you have to do to be a success is do what you feel God's telling you to do. What do I do today?
Exactly.
If you're doing that, you don't have to worry about the rest.
Well, I'm glad you learned that. That's
Yeah.
a good lesson to learn.
And because whether man sees it or not doesn't matter.
Right, it really doesn't.
It doesn't matter. At some point this will all end, and we're going to have to answer to Him, and He's
Right.
going to be there, and He's going to say, hey, my servant, you did what I told you to do.
Right.
What more can I ask for?
Oh, well, that's a good note to end on.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me and talking with me today.
I love the fact that you have this YouTube channel, and
Really?
yeah,
Aw.
it makes me happy. I've been wanting to do one for a long time. I didn't know what to do one about, so
Anything.
I thought it was
You know?
great, and I love the name too, Chaplain Chat.
You like that?
I love that. I think that's great.
Half the time I don't know what mine's
So,
about either, so
yeah.
just start one,
And if anybody out there has questions or things you'd like us to answer, we'll make another video.
Oh, yeah.
If you have specific questions, we're just kind of talking right here
Mm-hmm.
and trying to give you an insight into what it was like to grow up that way.
Yeah.
But if there's something else more you want to know or hear, let us know. Let April know. Go to the comment section and ask,
All right.
and type in a comment and ask her, and we'll be more than happy to post a video and
Go
try
from
to
there.
do our best to answer you.
Yeah, I want
Because
you.
I'm sure you're curious. Oh, well, what about this? What about that?
Yeah, and I'm sure I'll think of more things, so we'll have you back on.
Sounds good.
We gotta get Christy on too.
I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Well,
Bye.
love you, big bro.
Love you too, April.
Okay, bye.
Maker of the atheist. you can give. If you can do a gift of $240 as a special gift, awesome. And maybe there's somebody, and I'm just gonna ask, that can do all 10 spots and do a gift of $200 a month. Not for everybody.
Okay, so I'm back home. And now I need to take this little whippersnapper to where? Your friend's house for a party?
Tyler's house for his birthday party.
Okay.
And look at my clean room, it's great.
Oh yeah, isn't this wonderful?
I need some clothes.
Where are we going?
Tyler's birthday party.
Your best friend? Your
My best friend for 3 years.
your BFF?
Or, well, one of them, because I have multiple.
Oh.
It's hard to choose.
Oh, okay. It's
I
hard
can't
to choose.
between my friends.
Hmm.
But he's
So how many BFFs do you have?
a lot. It's like 3.
Okay, so you're going to his party.
And I just got ready after like 3 hours of preparation.
Yeah, after you called me and I called you and you
What?
said you were going to be ready, but you weren't.
Are you ready for me to build my world famous hobo sack? Where'd my shorts go? Oh, there they
I don't know, but why did you not put your stuff in a bag? Why are
Because a
we...
hobo sack is better.
Why do we have like random things flying around the car and they're not in a bag?
Because this is a bag. It's makeshift. It's called, in the names of that one guy from Man vs. Wild,
What?
adapt, survive, and overcome, or something like that.
Man versus Wild?
Yeah,
When did
that
we start
one-
watching that?
That one guy from Man vs.
I
Wild.
have no idea who you're talking about.
That was something grizzly something. I don't know.
Bear, the guy that's
Is it
his name is Bear.
Something like
Is that
that.
who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Bear Grylls or
Bear
Grylls?
Grylls. Yeah.
How do I know this? I don't even watch this stuff. This is not my
Been
thing.
around for 47.
I think I saw him eat a grub or something, and that was
Oh, yeah,
about
he
the
ate a grub.
extent of it, and I never want to see it again. I'm done. I'm over it. I am not an outdoorsy person.
You're not an outdoors person.
I am not an outdoors person. Do I ever go hiking or anything like that?
I wish.
What?
It would be fun.
Where am I gonna hike around here? These are all
You
neighborhoods.
could go to the Appalachian Mountains and hike over Fall Break.
I'll
Boom.
pass. I mean, if you really wanted
If
me
you
to,
went,
I
if
will.
you would have went to Camp Classen, we did freaking archery. Do you know what an atlatl is?
No idea.
It's a precursor to a bow. You put like this really long arrow and like a stick thing, basically.
Okay.
There's a hook on it, and then you put the hook in the arrow, and then you fling it like
Yeah, you told me about that. You did that, and you did all kinds of stuff there, didn't you?
that. Yeah, we hiked for 2 hours every day.
Yeah.
We had to climb up that.
Sorry, I missed that.
Sorry that I almost died.
You did not almost die. What are you talking about?
This is great.
You're
Archery
so
was awesome.
silly.
Archery's great.
Actually, archery would be cool. What are you doing with that blanket?
I'm
is
shielding my
going on
eyes,
here?
mother.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to die.
Oh, people are out on the golf course. Wow.
I'm blinded. Oh no, my friend is sad.
Again?
I do know sad. She's always sad.
Why is she always sad? Is
I
she
don't know.
depressed?
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that.
Sounds like
If she's
it.
sad every day, then I guess you could
Yeah,
say
it kind of sounds like she's depressed. What?
Well, at least she talks to me about it.
Yeah.
So, that's literally the only reason. Yeah. Okay, so I'll be there. I didn't bring my cubes, though. Okay. Oh, okay.
Alright, see ya.
See ya. That was Miles.
Oh, Miles.
Yeah,
What is he
Miles.
up to? Is he going to the party too?
Uh-huh.
I like Miles.
Miles is awesome.
He's so nice.
He is. He's really humble.
Yeah, and for living in a castle across the street from us, he's pretty humble.
Living in a castle.
Yeah, doesn't he live in this big, huge castle?
He lives
and he
in
has a pool. and
Yeah, he
everything
does have a lot of
else.
stuff, though. He almost bought me a Rubik's Cube called a GAN Cube.
Why would he
which
buy
is
you that? For your birthday?
literally just because he wanted to.
Oh my god.
And it's $60.
Tell him no. He can't be buying us stuff.
I already said that. Then he's like, alright. I was like, you can buy it if you want. And he was like, sorry, you can't get it. And I'm like, bro, I didn't even ask you to get this for me.
And what does his dad do? Is he like a pilot, or I forgot what you
He's
said?
a pilot and an officer and something else, a nurse.
He can't do all of that. That's
He
too many
can.
jobs.
Yeah, it is too many jobs. He sleeps a lot. I never see him.
Oh, okay, because he's working all the time.
Yeah, he works like all day.
To pay for the castle they live in.
Almost there? Are we like?
We are almost there.
Thank you so much for
Into the house that I helped her buy. Remember, I was her realtor on this deal, and she loves it over here now. They love it. Are you videoing me? Can you tell me the good news?
Oh, because you don't ask me about my grades. You ask me about embarrassing topics for your vlog.
Oh, come on.
Okay, anyway, so I got a 97 on my test, like my 40 question test.
Oh, wow.
And then a
Awesome.
100 on the quiz, which was like 37 questions. Oh, and I have all A's now, because my geography went up to an A after the test.
All right. Okay, so we're at Tyler's party. Hey.
Say hi.
How are you? All the kids are outside. Oh my gosh, they're already going crazy. Look at this. All boys. Oh man, you're gonna have a rough night, girl. You are gonna have a rough. Oh gosh. And Wesley's right behind him. Wesley's right in. Oh my gosh. He's right in the mix. Anyway, this is Tyler's mom. She didn't want to be his best friend, Tyler.
Hello, comrade.
He used to live down the street from us.
Goodbye, comrades.
He doesn't like that.
We're gonna get grass all over.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He used to see him every day after school. No longer. I know it's kind of sad, but. So I'm back home. I'm pretty well exhausted for the day. I did help my sister decorate her house for the party tomorrow. I did as much as I could, and now I am just relaxing, and I'm probably gonna I'm watching the news. I like to keep up on the news a lot. After all, my master's is kind of a political degree, so I really have always been kind of into politics and stuff. My husband is really into tennis, so he's watching a tennis match in the other room. But I'll probably end up watching one of my favorite shows here, and then maybe we will probably watch a movie together tonight, and that's how we will end the night. Our two oldest are at a football game because one of them is in marching band and the other one is in color guard, so they have to be at all the games. So you only have one child here tonight, so we'll probably end up watching a movie, and then that is it for the day. So I don't know when I'm gonna ever do this again. This is really kind of tough to do, to take the camera with you and do all this stuff. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the one day in the life of me. So I will see you guys later. Okay, I got my husband in here. We're watching our shows. There he is. Can you wave? Do you want to say anything?
Thank you.
You're so silly. All right, good night.